We've waited a couple of months, but with so many similarities with the Pixel Watch 3, where does the Pixel Watch 4 improve and enhance over its predecessor? Well, let's get into it in this video. Before then, how about you subscribe for more on the Pixel Watch, Pixel Buds, basically anything Pixel or Android, we've got you covered and we're here for it. Cheers. So on the face of it, these watches look very, very similar. However, yeah, they are similar. Google has tuned some of the design traits that have defined the Pixel Watch since it was launched over 4 years ago. The dome shape is, well, now it's more dome shaped with a very subtle display curve upward and outward with a greater camber in the middle. It seems inconsequential, but in reality, it does make that display feel a little bit closer to the surface and, dare we say it, marginally easier to use as a result. It means your finger just glides better, you can swipe more smoothly, and it feels great under your fingers. However, we do worry that this minor increase in that extra bump upward means it's going to be more opportunity, or it's going to be more prone to damage, especially as it is a little bit more curved towards the edges. The added benefit though is a marginally slimmer profile when it's on your wrist. At the edges, the curves are a lot softer, meaning that when you're wearing things like long sleeve garments, snagging isn't quite as pronounced, although it wasn't a major problem on the Pixel Watch 3. I think this has also allowed for the display to increase outward by a millimeter or so from the center. And while I expected not to notice this necessarily, this minor increase in real estate has been really appreciated. I think Google's own numbers actually indicate that the exact dimensions of the Pixel Watch 3 and the Pixel Watch 4 are identical, but I do think they feel really quite different owing to those improvements I just mentioned. There is also a boost of up to 50% in the maximum brightness of the actual display, as they're calling it, so it means you shouldn't have to cover the display to see things in direct sunlight. It's one of the best smartwatch displays out there, with even smaller bezels to make content look even better and more vibrant than it ever has done before. I think one of the few negatives that we've noticed though with this new design is the new charging prongs on the left side of the Pixel Watch 4 frame can rub or dig in a little bit compared to the smooth section on the same area of the Pixel Watch 3 because it charges slightly differently. This is not an issue if you're not moving your wrist or it's just sat there all day, but if you are moving your wrist at right angles like you may do in the gym to pick things up, it is a minor complaint, but it is something that is a little bit noticeable and it does somewhat ruin the overall aesthetic of the Pixel Watch. The crown is marginally slimmer on the right side on the new model. It's a little bit less bulbous, but similarly easy to adjust, press and twist and interact with the knurled or etched edges. It's also worth noting that on release, the Pixel Watch 4 has Wear OS 6 pre-installed, and as of this video going live, the Pixel Watch 3 is still rocking Wear OS 5, at least for a little while longer until that update arrives. The difference is quite stark as it stands right now. Material through Expressive is visible in some elements of the Pixel Watch 3, but it is fully realized on the Watch 4. Things like menus, the quick settings panel, and lots of applications now feel a lot more alive as a result. And this, in tandem with those design changes, I think makes that new watch feel a little bit more cohesive with Pixel phones specifically and Android QPR, 16 QPR1 that is. Haptics are also more liberally applied in this update when dismissing notifications or swiping through menus. The vibrations here are well tuned on the new wearable, and the experience you'll have with this update is vastly improved as a result of that. There's also the improved speaker as well, which can work in tandem with the haptics for better feedback for things like alarms, calls, and more on top of that. I think though, sadly, while the chipset has been bumped up from the Snapdragon W5 Gen 1 to the Gen 2, the only major change on paper is the co-processor. This should provide better, faster AI task processing to allow the Pixel Watch 4 to offload more tasks like continuous sensing, for instance. At least this portion of the chip will be able to handle them a little bit better, but this does result in only a few select tasks being faster in the real world. It doesn't make all that much difference when we've been using these side by side, but anyone expecting a quantum leap, the problem is you're just not going to see that here, even though there is a chipset bump, and that might be frustrating to some of you. But that said, the performance on the Pixel Watch has been good for a number of years at this point in time. While the Pixel Watch lineup has never really been the best for fitness tracking, I do think the updated post-workout activity detection is a major step in the right direction. The Pixel Watch 4 is able to prompt you to add what it thinks is a workout to your Fitbit account. Like for instance, you may have gone for a walk or a run or even a cycle, and it will be able to pick that up afterwards if you forgot to start the workout manually. It's still pretty terrible though at gym-based workout tracking in my experience, but the improvements for runners and outdoor-based activities like cycling and walking are definitely 100% welcome here. You don't need to worry about missing those basic workouts, but I would say don't expect it to be perfect. I think it's more of a fail-safe that can help you out in a pinch, and something that, yeah, is omitted on the Pixel Watch 3 but might come in a future update. That said, we don't know at this stage. There's absolutely no doubt to me that a high-end Garmin is better suited to the most active person out there, but the improved dual frequency GPS is far better at determining or positioning than the Pixel Watch 3. It's just more reliable in built-up areas like cities, for instance. Although there isn't a key reason to upgrade, I think this is a major selling point if you want a little more accuracy in applications like Fitbit and Strava, for instance. The improved sleep tracking also gives you deeper metrics for the various sleep phases, but the 45mm watch in particular I think is not ideal for bed wear. It's by no means a cumbersome watch in general day-to-day usage, but it isn't the most comfortable way to track your sleep, and I think there are better options out there that you can go and buy if you are someone who's intent on sleep tracking. I think if you're looking for a true fitness watch, the truth is no Pixel Watch is going to be good for you. Instead, it's a smartwatch with some acceptable fitness tracking baked in, and that hasn't changed this year from Pixel Watch 3 to Pixel Watch 4. And even though the Pixel Watch 4 has an almost 10% larger battery, you probably would expect a decent increase in lifespan. The reality is a little bit more banal here. Both watches are capable of 2 days of wear without too much difficulty when we specifically look at the 45mm versions. In some cases, I've been able to push the Pixel Watch 4 into a third day just about when using the battery saving modes. That to me does seem like an edge case. It's not always the norm when you start to do things like track a couple of workouts over those 2 days, or even maybe a stroll here and there on both of those as well. For me though, the new charging method is a big step up. While getting frustrated at the lack of compatibility is easy and understandable, and I'm frustrated about it myself, there are some good things to note here. Firstly, when you're using this new charging dock, it is a lot more weighty and it definitely feels a lot more premium, and it sits flush on a surface. The Pixel Watch 4 display, when you place it in this, will therefore adjust and work like a mini clock. It'll go into landscape mode and it will show you the time, the charging information, and the date as well. I would actually love it if Google updated this to be more like a mini Nest Hub style information screen, but for now I do think it's a really nice way to add a mini clock to your nightstand when you do charge this phone, but it will charge a lot faster, as in my experience, the Pixel Watch 4 charges, I think it is almost double the speed, because it actually tracked the improvements from around about 0 to 100% in under an hour or so, but I think being able to go from 0 to 50% in around 15 minutes has been especially beneficial. As I say, you can quickly add some juice and get on with your day. It's twice as fast as the Pixel Watch 3, which is a really big jump for a wearable such as this. So in essence, I think to me, the most striking thing when comparing the Pixel Watch 3 and the Watch 4 is while there are lots of minor tweaks that add up, and there's lots of tuning here as well, the Pixel Watch 3 is still an incredible package that is a great companion for any Android phone out there. Google has made the most improvements on how the hardware and software converge this year though. The new curved screen, I think, on the Pixel Watch 4 feels like a bridge for the Material 3 expressive redesign and the larger screen as well. It seems small to me at first, and it doesn't seem like it's going to make much of a difference, but it does make an unexpected and substantial difference to how interactive everything feels with this wearable. I think when we start to look at it wholesale though, when we start to compare these two devices more directly, with the Pixel Watch 3 you get 80 or 85% of the experience of the Watch 4, and with watch prices coming down gradually, I think that's a very good thing for any patient buyers out there. Given the lack of Wear OS watchmakers in the space, I think it's great that you have a marginally older but still solid wearable option to pair with your Android phone. And in many ways, the Watch 4 is arguably the most improved product in Google's portfolio this year. Make no mistake about it. It is though still a minor upgrade, but one that could provide the biggest jump from older models because a lot of things have been addressed at the same time. That said, if you have a Pixel Watch 3, 100% stay put. Don't upgrade this watch unless you can get a good deal on trading or you are desperate for some of the changes I mentioned. If you have a Pixel Watch 2 or even the original, which definitely is starting to show its age now, you will be very happy if you do want to make that switch. Let me know what you think though. Are you looking at the Pixel Watch 4? As I say, I think it probably is the most upgraded in the lineup this year, more so than the Pixel 10 and the Pixel 10 Pro lineup. But if you have any questions about this duo, then let us know down in the comment sections below. Thanks for watching. As always though, I'll speak to you later.